Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I found this little piece of scrap bark that I had. I've already kind of took the rough bark off, you can see. Clean up a little space to carve on. Excuse me. I think I'm going to try to carve a Santa Claus in the wood, in the bark. So what I'm looking at is, his face is going to be in this area here. This will eventually be beard down in here. And then his hat's going to kind of go up. Instead of flipping over, it's just going to be up to the top a little. Maybe we'll just cut a ball in up here or something. I don't know. Have no plans other than I think I already sketched on here. I think this is about where the brim of the hat's going to be. Sort of in that area. Kind of like that, coming down the sides. I don't know if you can see that. Can't find my white pen, but... And his nose is going to be about in this area here, I'm thinking. His eyes are going to be in here. Maybe his nose a little lower. I don't know. Let's keep going. Today what I'm carving with is it's a flex cut knife that I acquired of it was like a fundraising raffle auction, I guess it would be called, that Helvey Knives put on. For Holly in her battle against cancer. And this knife used to be owned by Gene Messer. And I'm very proud to own this knife. I got a couple of them from him that he had donated to the auction, and I was the winner of the auction. Gene, if you're watching this, I'm sure you recognize it. It has a 2004 Carvers Conference chipping away. International Carvers Conference, I guess that's what it would have been, back in 2004. So this is one of their, I believe it's a detail knife, but that's what I'm going to use today. I carved something with it the other day, I can't remember what it was. So this goofy little thing right here. It was just a little scrap piece of bark that I had started carving and something broke off, and I said, I'm not going to glue it. So I kind of threw it in my little scrap pile, and then I dug it out the other day. I went, you know what, I'm going to make something out of this. And I started messing around and ended up a little guy with big shoes, no body. I know, silly, isn't it? Anyways, I think I carved that with this knife too. So anyways, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is probably get working on where this hat's going to be and just kind of roughly mark it where it's going to be. If you're following along to carve with this, you can use a piece of basswood. It doesn't have to be bark. You can, any piece of wood you got will work. Just be careful. Make sure you got your carving glove on. Accidents happen. Trust me, I know. I've cut myself many times. It happens. I don't care who you are. You're going to cut yourself. You're a carver. So anyway, so kind of figured that's where that hat's going to be. And I think I'm going to take the nose down a little bit farther. Just a bit farther. Let's give him a little bit of a forehead. Right about here. So, right there, come up to it, so I kind of know where that's going to be. Then just about where that other line is, I'm going to carve straight back in here like this. Get that slanted back all the way around, just like that. Now if you want, you can make yourself a center line on your carving, so it kind of keeps you honest, keeps you in place like that. Okay, all right, let's take this back here a little bit too, where the hat's going to be. It doesn't need to be that thick, and there'll be a band around it as we go. But we're going to be cutting a lot of this down yet. We're just getting our bearings straight here. Take this a little deeper. Take that back a little more. Isn't that a wonderful sound? Okay, let's go a little bit deeper in this nose here. I got my camera set up a little different, and I really have to look around it, but I think it's a better view for everybody else. So you're just going to have to bear with me while I do it, because I'm sometimes looking through the camera carbon and sometimes looking around the camera carbon, so it's just tricky. Okay, so each side of this nose, we're going to have its little space. We're going to cut for our nostril flares. So we know that's our center. So let's go about this way. We start out a little wider. Just try to make them even. You can always make it more narrow if need be. Then I'm just going to take my knife and go straight in. Just like that. And this side, same way. Oop, straight in. Then I'm going to come off that, and I'm just going to go like this. I'm not going to make a big smile line yet. I'm just going to get this nostril notched out. Kind of like that. Then we'll taper these ends up a little bit, each side, like so. Okay. All right, hold on. I gotta get this camera up just a little bit more. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. Now we need to figure out for our eyes here. What I like to do is I like to figure out where the bridge of my nose is going to be. Okay, which we got our center line here. And then I'll put a dot. Okay, I'll put a dot here. And I'll put a dot equally on the other side. Like that. Make sure they look pretty good. Then I come over here, and slightly below this dot, I bring another one over here. Now these are some really basic eyes I'm going to do. And I'll bring this one over about the same distance, as close as possible. Look at them, make sure they look okay. These look fine. Then I'm going to just take and make a small arch like this on each side. Connect those dots. Same at the bottom. Now instead of making the big eye mounds and carving from that, we're going to carve down into the eyes. You'll see here. And I'm going to take the point of this knife, and I'm going to, where that dot was at, I'm going to go straight in like that. You see that? Straight in. And go to the top of that eye. Same thing. Go straight in. And then I'm going to take a little chip out of there. Just a small one to start. And I'm going to flip my piece over, and I'm going to go to the outside corner of the eyes. And I'm going to go that same thing straight in, just like that. And I'm going to knock that corner out a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to do, while I get it that way, I guess I just do this one. Same way, each side, straight in, like so. And this Santa Claus carving here, you could turn this into a wood spirit, basically the same thing. Other than maybe the hats and different facial feature. Now I'm going to take where this eyeball is here. I'm going to take and I'm going to score a line, not very deep. I'm just going to score a line like that where I had that pencil mark. You can see that. Let me get some more light over here. Maybe that's better. Yeah. Square that line like that, and then I'm going to do the bottom as well. Same thing. Just a little, whoop, like a chip out. That's going to happen, especially in cottonwood bark. It's the worst. It's okay, we'll fix it up. We'll just carve deeper. And I went too deep. That's why I said don't go too deep. And I went too deep. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to shave this down. We're doing a recovery carve now, fixing this up. It'll be okay. Okay. Let's get some of that out of there. So I'm just kind of shaving on an angle. You can see the angle. I'm trying to put my knife to round this eyeball a little bit. Okay, let's get our little brush. See, it broke again. Okay, let's work on the other one a little bit. See what happens over here. We'll just round this bottom first. Nice angle. Okay, now we go to the top, do the same. I think what we're going to end up doing, we're going to have to carve deeper in this. So, before I even go any farther, it's a good lesson right here, especially if you're carving bark. You might not be having these problems with a piece of basswood or pine or whatever you might be carving. So, we're just going to have to make everything deeper, which is going to be here. We're going to have to carve the nose back farther. Everything's going to go deeper. But we have a lot of wood to work with, as you can see. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to clean this up. Take that back a little more. It happens. Let's go a little deeper in this nose. So we're just blocking out right now anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Don't worry. Nothing's ruined. Sometimes when you make these mistakes, better things come out of it, so we'll see what happens. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. We'll get her. I'm just really trying to get past all the knife marks that I had in there. We gotta take this back a little more too. It's just gonna get in my way. Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of bark, is that sometimes until you get really deep into it, it can be really shaly and cause you a few problems. Let's get these nostril flares just defined a little bit more here. What we had. Okay. I'm going to take some of this down here too. Need some more room. Let's see if I can get a better eye formation. I'm going to make them a little bigger this time too. They looked a little small. Now, so that's going to be my center. I'm not the best artist here, so excuse the camera moving. Now we're going back to our corners, which I showed you already, so I'm going to try to go through them as fast as possible here. I don't edit my videos. I don't know how. I don't want to take the time to do it right now. So you get what you get. Okay, let's do this one. Yeah, because you always want these corners a little deeper, and you can always deepen them as you go. Okay, now I'm just going to try not to break this out again. I'm just going to go lightly over that and lightly down the bottom. Not too deep. And around her a little bit. Round this one down a little bit. See where this is getting in my way? I knew it would. Take that back some. I was going to try to do this all knife only, but maybe I might have to get something else to help clean up these eyes, but slightly putting the tip in there, and there we go. Seems like the bark is more solid over on this side of the nose than the other. It's not busting up as easy. Speaking of bark, I was talking with my son the other day that I thought it'd be cool to make a trip out west, go to Montana or something and try to find some bark. And I just thought it'd be cool. Just the adventure. Never been out there before. And I thought it would be a fun trip, but I'd like my son to go with me, but I don't think he could get the time off of work that it would take to drive all the way out there, hunt for bark, load it, and all that business. Because if I go out there and get some, I'm getting a bunch. I'm not going to go out there just to get a couple of little pieces. And maybe I'll even sell some of it. I don't know. You get $10 a pound for it, I guess, what the going rate is, I've been told. Let's turn this over, try to round this off a little bit. Open this top eye up a little bit more. I'm going to go in these corners a little bit deeper. Yeah, this is the tricky part with bark. Carving small stuff. I've carved a lot of, houses and castles and, that sort of thing. And trying to put all those little details in gets so tricky. Now, I used to do a lot of it with a Dremel tool. And you can get away with a lot of that with a Dremel tool because they spin so fast, and if you have good burrs on there that you're cutting with, it's usually not a problem of breaking too much. It's been a while since I've done any Dremel carving. I like it, but to me, carving with a knife and hand tools is more satisfying to me than using a power tool. I don't know if anybody else that's got experience doing both is on here watching. If you are, comment. Tell me what you think about that. If you find it more relaxing to carve with a knife versus a power tool. Well, I'm not too happy with that, but let's see what we can do. I think I'm off center with everything. Just open things up a little more. I knew you were going to do that. Knew it was going to break. Try to go a little deeper here. A little deeper on this side. Same with that one. Soften up that where the brow line comes in a little bit. Taking his hat back a little, so it's still a little thick. And we'll soften these up a little bit too. I forget what that's called. There's a name for it, but I can't remember what it's called. It's where the smile line is at. This one needs to be a little deeper. So anyways, we're getting a face in there. He's going to have a big old honker. I still need to open this eye up a little bit on this side. And then we're going to put a couple little, see that? Right there. Just a little crease. Go to the other side, give it one. Stick the blade in there a little bit and carve up to it. It creates that. I'm going to make this a little bit higher. All right, let's get our pencil. So, think about a mouth, where his mouth is going to be. Let me get a little more better surface to write on. I'll take some of this nose off. It's just way too big. All right, we'll come back and detail that nose. So I'm thinking a mouth we're going to want about right in this area right here. So I'm going to put a mustache on him. And that mustache is going to be Kind of a bigger mustache. Like so. And when you're carving bark, you can, I personally like to leave a little bit of this on. I think it just gives it a little character, leaving that rough bark on. So sometimes you'll carve up to it and not carve into it. If you follow what I'm saying there. So this mustache is going to come like this. And this one's going to do the same thing. And there we're getting to that point, so where we carve up to it. I don't know, we might go into it, I don't know. It needs to come up a little bit more. All my scribbles, I know what they mean. I know you probably don't. You're probably going, what the hell is he drawing? Anyways. So that'd be the mustache, and then obviously we're going to have a beard down here, down in this area. And then I don't think we're going to have any ears on this. We're going to be more hair coming down each side of the face. Kind of like that. And we'll just get this hat in here a little more. We could run into problems in this right here being shaly, but we're basically going to be making hair in that. Same with this other side. We don't have as much over here, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I'm just going to put the tip in there and follow those pencil lines down that I drew down to the top of that mustache like that. Same with this one. Just be able to get the tip in there down to the mustache. Now I'm going to attempt, without trying to get it all break up, just cut some of that out. Just watch the tip of your knife, that you don't go into this part too deep. Okay, let's go to the other side. We're going to be carving up this time. And something I do too when I get to areas like, let me get my, right here and right here, what I like to do is take my knife. So this is the bottom of the hat, right at the bottom of the fold of the hat, I should say. I'll stick my knife and just put the tip in there a little bit, like that. And then along this side where the hairline would be at your temple, I take that, put that one in there too, and then I just take out that, make it a little bit deeper. It kind of like makes more of a shadow, which is your friend. Wood carving and shadows go together. The more shadows you can create while you're wood carving, the more detail your carving is going to have. It's going to look nicer. So always remember that. Wherever you can get a shadow line without getting ridiculous. So I want to take this down a little bit more just for the temple. Like that. Same here. This is where it pays to have a good sharp knife. So this knife came right from Rich Smithson. He sharpened this knife before I got it. So Gene sent it to him, he sharpened it, and they auctioned it, and I got it. And I just think it's cool that I got a Gene Messer knife. If you don't know who Gene Messer is, you need to get on YouTube and find Gene Messer. Gene Messer is like the godfather of wood carving videos. He's the man that pretty much started it, as far as I know. And he's got so many videos and so much information. He's got great stories. I could have, if I would have stayed one more day down in Charlotte, at the Charlotte Wood Carving Show, downtown Charlotte there. If I would have stayed one more day, I left Saturday afternoon. If I would have stayed till Sunday, I could have met him. And he came in there. Nobody knew he was coming. He popped in and spent a lot of time there and talked with people. I wish I could have been there to meet him. That would have been awesome. Maybe someday. He's just a great person, you know. I mean, not that he's not, you know, he's a great wood carver too. Been doing it a long time, but he's just a great person. A man of faith. He's just a good person. Had some hard times himself and made it through it. Kept his faith. Okay, now we got this big old nose here, and I think I'm gonna take my knife. I'm gonna put it right here. And I'm just going to kind of carve down a little bit like that. Just as careful as can be. Carve up right to that eyeball without hitting that eyeball. And take that down a little bit. And I'll do the other side the same way. Start up here with my knife. Now this is something you might want to practice. I mean, it's a little tricky. I'm kind of going slow just so you can see. See that? And you take this one a little more. And if you have other tools, you can take a gouge, let's say, I don't know what this is. Let me find one. I don't know what number this is. A 7. This is like a number 7. You could always go like this with a number 7. Go right up to it. Oh, I was on camera there. Take number 7. Run it alongside there, right up to the eyeball and stop. You could go that route too. Like that. And see how it's creating that bridge of the nose. You know, and then you can do all your fine tuning. You know, come in here and clean that up. Like so. Okay, now let's round this nose a little bit. It looks like a box. Cut some nostril flares a little bit more. Last thing, just trying to keep them even. Sorry if I keep sliding out of the camera. Like I said, I'm trying to look around this camera here, and I might be pulling my piece over to my right there and getting out of camera, out of the frame. Okay, let's look at her. So we're getting a profile. You can see that. So, you know, you have like a ball of a nose, and I think we're going to try to go like this and keep that ball of that nose. So now, just beyond that ball of that nose, I'm going to make a little swooping cut all the way around it, like this, and take it back. And just round these up a little bit. Okay. Now we got your nostril flare. So you got like this little C shape that goes in here like this. These are tricky to get perfect. I mean, almost impossible, but then I'm just going to take the tip of my knife again, just barely go in, and then I'm going to just chip it out a little bit. Again, I'll go back, and I'm just going to be trying to give it a right angle, a good angle to see here. So I'm just going in and tip and just kind of scoring it, and then I'll chip that piece out. Come on out there. And I'm just softening up these sharp edges that are I think saying I had a kind of a round nose. You can get this close, and then you can always clean it up a little bit with some sandpaper. Just lightly go over it, and I'll demonstrate. A little tiny piece of, I don't even know what this is, 220 or something. Yeah, 220. And just kind of, that's all you got to do. Just kind of hit it like that. I don't do too much sand until I get pretty much done with all my carbon, because I don't want my knives, just in case this sandpaper. But you are carbon bark, and I will tell you this, that carbon bark is a little harder on your blades. I don't use any knives that I would call my expensive knives in bark. I usually use a flex cut when I carbon these. Flex cuts have really good steel, and I never have a problem getting them back into shape. Usually with just a strop. So yeah, that's kind of like you round your nose up and like that. Okay. Now let's try to get this mustache in shape. So we're going to come off of this smile line. We're just going to get the point in there. We're not going to go too deep because we don't want it all chipping out. And we're going to follow this one around like so. Bring it to that one. Now we come to the other side. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to follow that smile line. Come so far. I haven't decided what I'm going to. Yeah, go on the wider side of this. So I'm going to stop there. When I get started in that rough stuff, I may leave some of that in there just for the character. And just do it kind of like that. I'll go a little deeper here. In fact, I'm just going to go right into that corner, and I'm going to go straight in deep. And then I'm going to come down just a bit, and I'm going to take that triangle out like that. Okay, so now then I'm going to try to create a lip, his bottom lip would just kind of be there. But I get some of this out first. trying to take some of this bulk off. We're not going to need this much. Okay, so I'm thinking he's going to have a bottom lip down here like this. I might make it just a little bit bigger than what it might be, but that's okay because by the time you get done, it'll be smaller. Trust me. So I'm just barely going in there. And I'm just kind of knocking the edge off like that. From that point. So I'm just kind of getting ready to shape the beard. When we get ready to put a beard in here, I'm just going to get it a little more even though it doesn't have to be, because a lot of times it looks better if there's a little more bulkiness on one side or the other. Nobody's beard is, well, there's some guys got perfect beards. I mean, when I grow one just about every winter, and it's not perfect, but I try to keep it shaped. And let's see what happens here. This area. All right. And we just kind of do this. Just taper that back just a tiny bit. Right at the edge of the cheeks. Uh-oh, that's trying to break out right there. That whole cheek is loose right there. I'm going to be real careful, and then probably end up gluing it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll take a little more of this off here. Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty even. It's going to be a longer video than I anticipated. Keep looking at this eyeball sticking out, and it's driving me crazy because they don't need to bowl. I don't want bug eyes. That's something while you're carving, you should be looking over your carving all the time. And you'll see something. And a lot of times if you don't stop and take care of it right away, you forget about it, and it might go unnoticed. So I kind of bounce around a little bit and look at things as I'm carving. And if you're just a beginner, as you're carving, you'll start doing the same thing. You'll get some experience and realize, okay, I can pull off here and jump up here. That's what I do. I think that's a lot of carvers do the same. Right, take this out a little deeper in these corners, like that. This eye's still sticking out a little bit too far. It's always nice to try to make your cuts as clean as possible as you're going along, but sometimes it's you can't always do that. I'm just going to split this mustache a little bit, like a normal mustache would be. I'm not sure if I'm going to do nostrils yet or not. If I do, I'm going to use a little gouge. Oh, there's my neighbor going to get out his leaf blower, of course. He never does anything at his house, and then all of a sudden, now he's going to do leaf blowing. He's the worst neighbor ever. Ever. I'm sure everybody's got a neighbor like that. I'm just taking this cheek down a little bit more here to help define this hairline that we got going here. Yeah, of course it's going to break. So we just carve it back a little bit more, get a cleaner line. Like I said, sometimes those turn into happy little mistakes, as Bob Ross might say. Now let's get this other side a little more too. I'm going to score the line a little bit more. Let's take a look at her. Brush her up a little bit. Oh, my lip broke. How the heck did that break? I didn't even do nothing to it. Well, we're just going to have to go a little deeper, that's all. It must have been pretty loose. I think it might have just came loose from the my little dental brush thing there. Let's see, we'll just make them lines again. It's getting a little deep for me to get to. Let me get a smaller gouge. This little number 5 here. We'll turn it upside down. Alright, that's about as good as that's going to get for right now. Alright, well, how about we try to put a brim on this hat, the fold. So Santa's got that wide. It would be normally be white trim. Start with just the tip, a little bit at a time with shaly bark. Like that. Score one more time. Well, my neighbor stopped with a leaf blower. Probably broke or something. We've had some wonderful weather. Maybe you know I'm from Michigan, and we've had some really nice weather for the fall. It's been in pretty much the 50s all month long. I mean, it was in a lot warmer at the beginning of the month, but I mean, it's been, today I think it's going to be sunny and 58. What I heard. It just looks beautiful outside. Okay, clean this up here. So, this is going to be a folded hat. He's in a funny looking Santa hat, huh? I mean, I try to use as much bark as I can without chopping it off, but, I could take this and make a fold over here or something and take that off, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'm just we're gonna have a crazy looking Santa hat. Why not? This is just all practice anyway. That's the way I look at it. Every piece I make, just practice. All right. It's really hard right here. Really hard. When I put the texture in for the beard, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of small little lines, but I am going to use a couple different gouges, I think, to here. This is a soft V tool I have. This is from Stubai. It's an Austria made tool. I don't know the millimeters of it, but I'm not going to go very deep with it. But I'm just going to kind of take out a couple little, just to give it some deeper textures. Just kind of randomly go in there, like so. You don't know what'll happen with this bark when you're digging in there with a gouge like this. And even up here, I'm going to take a few smaller ones. And down here in the hair, we'll do a couple. Now I'm going to get a V tool. I use one of these, some real inexpensive ones that I got a long time ago from my son. Gave them to me as a gift when I first started carving. And I sharpened, they weren't sharp by any means when I got them, but I sharpened them and they've been actually pretty good little tools for me. They're usually in my tool bin with me all the time. Make some of these a little deeper. There's nothing perfect about this at all. So there's no rhyme or reason why I like to make some of these deeper ones a little deeper with a little sharper mark from the V-tool. And we're going to get into all this bark here. Spongy down here. It'll be all right. Now we're going to take some in the mustache. Just having fun. That's all. That's all this is. Just practice and having fun. I'm just hoping I'm helping somebody that, I'm sure there's people that are watching us that are going, there's a better way to do that. And it probably is. But I just hope I'm helping somebody. That's all I'm doing these for. My Facebook page, Scott's Creative Carvings, I post pretty much all my works that I do, all the carvings I do, and I do sell a few of them. Some, it's like, I don't really want to sell it. I like it, so I keep it. But maybe it's like, okay, I'll keep it for now. Sell them later or something. So yeah, we got a little texture in the beard here. I don't like that. Let's take that big ridge off that. And as far as around the bill of the hat, you can take a little gouge and make little marks like this, kind of give it some texture like it's fur or wool or whatever it might be made of. Just go a couple different directions with it. Go the other way. Like that. Just random. Let's see where we're at. No, not too bad. Okay. Let's go back to that, some tools out of the way. Back to the eyeball. I still need to take this one back a little bit. sticking out kind of far. Round them up. Now, a lot of my bark carvings, I'll paint the eyes. And some other details, but I don't know. Everybody's got a different opinion. A lot of people, oh, don't put paint on the wood. They don't like that, but I don't know. I'll make these a little deeper again. So I said earlier in the video that you gotta you'll keep working on those little corners to give it that depth that you want for the shadows and stuff that you need to create while you're carving those eyes. See what happened? It broke. Let's see if we can work around it for now. I'll show you guys a tool that I have that I like to use a lot. This right here by Helvey. I think it's called a lamb's foot because of the size of it. But the only thing that's sharp is from this little point. Where am I? From this little point to the very end. It's the only part that's sharp. The shank right here is not sharp. None of this is sharp. Just the very tip, that edge right there. And what that's good for is reaching over like the nose here so I don't accidentally put my knife blade into the bridge of the nose. And you can do some fine shavings. And hopefully soon Helvey Knife will get back into taking orders because they're not taking orders yet. And you can order yourself one because they're fantastic. I use it all the time. It just makes things a little easier to reach around and get in those little tight areas without putting a mark on the rest of your carving. Now I'm going to take this cheek back a little bit. I don't like that. There we go. Yeah, I like that better. I'll tuck it underneath the hair, underneath the mustache, like so. Same with this one. Take it out a little bit. That right there is a little high too. Now I'm going to try to, in fact I'm going to use this to do it. I'm going to make little things for my eyebrows. Just kind of doing a little scoop cut there to make that brow where the hair in your eyebrows would be. Maybe it's a better angle for you to see. Just scoop, turn, scoop. We'll go the other side of them here. I do it this way first. Scoop. Yeah, when you start getting into all the little details, like that, and then we also need to, let me get a small V tool, and I'm going to put a couple really small lines coming up from the bridge of the nose, like this. And I want to I got a really, really small gouge. See here, where are we at? There we go, this real small gouge right here. And we're going to put it right between the eyes and make that little section you have. And then we're going to soften it up a bit. I don't think I'm going to do too many wrinkles on the forehead because we don't have a lot to work with there. Not much sense in it. Just kind of clean these up a little bit. One of these right here is a very important tool to you. I say it in just about all my videos, and because it's true. You use it all the time. It really helps you keep your carving in perspective. Okay. Now I'm just softening these back up. I don't want a sharp edge. So I got some big old cheeks. So I don't even think I'm going to do anything with as far as a ball of the hat. All this up here. I don't know. I mean, I could like cut it off and put a fold over here and put a ball maybe here. But I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. This is gonna be like a little wall hanger. I'll put a little thing in the back. That's what the back of the Cottonwood looks like. Maybe take a drill or something and put a hole here that you can hang it on a nail or something. This, like I said, it's just a little practice carving piece. But I'm going to put a few more little V tool marks in this mustache. Just some small ones. Just a couple. That's hardwood right there. Get to that edge. Just a little bit more texture in a mustache. All those, you know what it is. It's not like it's a mystery. And maybe some smaller ones going up to the bottom lip there. Well, should I do some nostril holes? I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna leave it just the way it is. I think I'm just gonna leave this bad boy the way it is. Except for that. I want that cleaned up right there. Well, that's it. That's carving a minimal Santa with a cottonwood bark. If you get your hands on some, get you some cottonwood bark and try it out. It's wonderful to carve. I'm still working on this piece here. I've just kind of put it down and haven't got back to it, but I will eventually get her face tuned in a little more. But anyways, thanks for watching my video, and I hope this was helpful to anybody. If you have any questions, please comment down below, and please, if you would, subscribe and like this video and watch my other ones that I got, and subscribe and like them. Let me know that somebody wants to see them anyway, and I'll probably make some more. Anyways, thanks again for watching. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye now.